taught in this town, and I put Jim on a Greyhound bus. And we had our Danish exchange student with us. And you and he went on, and Lucy and I went back. And Lucy kept saying, "You're driving too fast." We left all the hanging clothes, not just his, but for everyone. The hanging clothes. Because Jim's dad had a little dementia at that time, so he kept putting things away. So we put away our hanging clothes for us, and we forgot them. It was pretty fun.
Okay, anyone else? Yes.
I'll have to stand up here and
Okay.
shout. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
That's never been a problem.
I was Jim's and Sally's teacher in statistical mechanics. And a year that they and three other guys, graduate students, all got 4.5, which is the highest grade possible. We were very blessed to have them graduate with their PhDs on the same day, in the same room, the same committee, which consists of Stan Crouch, Chris Enke, me, and Jim Dye. And then we had a big party at our house, which was a whole lot of fun. And at midnight, everybody had left except Jim, who was lying on the floor listening to Rhapsody in Blue. I think. But those were really good times. And Jim and Sally were spectacular students, to say the least.
Well, it was a spectacular party, to say the
It was a
least.
spectacular party.
That's why it was on the floor.
We were all very young.
That's true. And we came here, it was Sally's idea that we come and interview, and so we did. And I've been here for 28 years, thanks to Sally. I'm glad to have met all of you folks, although most of them came and graduated before I got here. So that's, Jim is the legend, as was Stan, and as was Chris, and so forth. And it was really great fun. Thank you, Jim.
For those of you that don't know, Fred was our Dean of Science here at OSU for many years.
Okay, can I entice anyone else? There's got to be some other. Oh, Dr. Kruger.
He's not a cool host.
Hi, just a quick one here. I want to begin by saying that it is really great to have had a chance to visit with so many of you people that work with us in the department, to see you back here again, all looking as young and vigorous as you do. It's just, thank you very much for coming back and being part of this and honoring Jim and the family. Here, there are several faculty people here. John Westall here, Fred himself, and Emil, and Chris. And as faculty members, we enjoyed a lot of privileges here, but we never got one that all of you had, which is a chance to be a member of the Ingle research group, and that's indeed a high honor, I think. So we didn't get the advantage of all of the great wisdom that Jim imparted in the research lab, but Jim was always free with giving good advice, and sometimes it was asked for, and sometimes it wasn't. And I remember, did I include you, Joe, in the faculty? That's right.
I did get a lot of advice.
Yeah, well, I remember one time with respect to advice that several of us were on a committee with one of Jim's, a student here, a faculty member. I won't say who it was, and the student is not present here either, but the student was from a different country, not a non-native speaker, and so the thesis was excellent, but the English was not very good. And so after we passed the student on the science, then all of a sudden to Jim, to this Prof, hey, we've got to get this language cleaned up here. So after about 2 iterations with this faculty member working hard with the student, they came back and said, okay, this draft, this is going to be good enough now here. And Jim observed that, yeah, you've got it down to the point now where the only mistakes are the ones that you usually make. It was very, very candid fellow. So Jim, thank you for everything you contributed to the department, for being the person you are, and I don't think there's anyone who exceeds you in either academic and scientific excellence or in good humor. So congratulations and best wishes in the future.
Oh, John Salinas.
There's just a couple things that have to be said tonight and not forgotten. And in my research, I was working with fluorescence and chlorophyll. And one of the things I wanted to do was some remote sensing. So I was using fiber optics. And I'll never forget 2 things that happened. I think Jim let me go kind of on my own quite a bit. I had a real plan of what I wanted to do. But sometimes things weren't working out very well. And one time I had 50 or 100 feet of fiber optic down the hall and back through the door. And I was playing with the ends of these fibers, and the British say launching my xenon arc lamp into this fiber using an elliptical mirror. And it was really great fun to do this. And he looked at me and he said, I don't think you're getting a bunch of light out of this. In my experience, a lot more light should be coming out of this. And for some reason, maybe all of us had these nights of research rather than days. And I looked down at this blue fiber optic, and there was just a bulge of light coming out in a place where there should be no light. And I realized that someone had probably closed the door on that fiber. And he was exactly right. And I cut the fiber and re-ended it, and all of a sudden it was like a garden hose and light was everywhere. So that was the perfect moment for me to make sure I was reporting what really was happening. But I have to also paint the picture of a summer evening with all the windows open in our research lab up there, and me sitting at this same xenon arc lamp, and did I say the windows were open? And so I'm sitting there and watching this light and doing my detection limits of this instrument that I was designing for remote sensing. And he came and sat next to me. This didn't happen very often, but at this moment he was sitting next to me, and this fly came buzzing by my xenon arc lamp. I don't know if do you remember that? You don't? Well, anyway, he looked at me and he said, John, this is really a bad statement on your research when it draws flies. You don't remember that at all. Anyway, when I needed help, guess who was there? Thanks, Jim.
Are there anyone else? Sarah. Yes.
Mine is very short. I didn't work for Jim. I only remember him from the parties.
So, is there anyone else that would like to say anything? I guess, in closing, I think all of us in this room really appreciate all that you've done for us, Jim. You've made differences in our lives, and the people in this room, we might not have seen each other for years, but it doesn't matter. Because of the time that we spent here under your guidance, we could get together after 30 years, and we'll still pick up. And that was a wonderful part of my life in graduate school. My husband used to say, Marcia, why do you think, do you look back on these times so fondly? Because it was like here forever, I thought. But it was because of Jim, what the collaboration he instilled in us, and just the ability to really think for ourselves. And that's the thing that I really appreciate from you, and I was glad to come away with from Morgan State. And also the dart games with Lucy. So, if that, I think we have something from Cecilia and Socorro.
All the way around. Thanks, Jim.
I just want to say, I feel like I'm really retired now. And, you know, you tell stories about me, and they're really fun. I could tell stories about you, too. And you talk about my qualities and all that, and, you know, I'm, of course, quite more imperfect than you said, but...
That's for sure.
But, you know, in the end, you know, all the work you did in that, you know, what I remember is all you. I just remember little tidbits about, you know, what happened and so on. So, you know, in the end, you enriched my life, I think, more than I enriched yours, and I appreciate that. Thanks to everybody.
Okay, you're allowed to go.